All right, well, here we are on a Friday following the big preseason game with the New England Patriots. So what do you guys
I don't think this qualifies, Eytan and Barrett, as a football Friday, because that was not football on our end last night. I don't know what that was.
Well, we heard what they said. They said that they played in 2 games the day before.
Yeah,
which put them in would put them in a position where they really didn't need to play the starters. And then we got guys getting sick, going to the hospital, and we didn't know. I was like, man, it just started out all bad. Started out all wrong.
Well, I mean, I was on the front porch enjoying a cigar, and I went inside right around 7:30, turned on the television. And so I had missed, any of this pregame stuff with Jalen Hurts being out in the field, bouncing around and throwing passes. And then next thing you know, he disappears. And there's Joe Flacco. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, what happened to Hurts?
Exactly.
So then I had to go on Twitter and found out that he had some stomach bug. And they're saying it wasn't COVID related. And I'm like, that's bizarre. Like, he went to the hospital?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. And that's what made things kind of crazy, because the players didn't even know. Guys that were supposed to start, didn't even get a chance to play.
Right.
Said, you got the day off too.
I know. It was bizarre. It was like, and you know what? I saw somebody tweet this. I think it was Glenn Mack now, to the extent of, you know what? The Eagles can do whatever they want with their preseason, but you shouldn't charge fans to go down there and watch that garbage.
That was a travesty.
Imagine that. You're going to see him play the Patriots. You think you're going to see Jalen Hurts. You think you're going to see a couple of the starters for a quarter, and you get that.
What is it? Game management, or whatever they call them, man.
Load management.
Load management. Yeah. That was load management in the beginning of the season.
Right.
That's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And look, I'm looking at my TV. It just flashed up post game live. They were airing post game live.
No.
Yeah.
We should just put that on, Eytan. We should just run Barrett's post game live from last night.
Did you guys do a full post game live show or what?
Yeah, we went for an hour. For an hour, and
that's
which was crazy. But I'm getting texts from you guys. Like, what is this? Well, we watch this. I'm out on this.
He said Barrett said that Seth Joyner was watching YouTube for the entire second half. He wasn't even watching the game.
He said, "B, did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I did see it." Well, I bet you. He said, "I bet you won't see any more." I'm watching YouTube.
Terrible, man.
I mean, the starting kicker. There wasn't even a competition for kicking.
Yeah,
that's the problem right there. That was my problem in the first place. But then he's not kicking on today. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, well, that New England kicker stinks. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut today.
Job, yeah,
he was terrible.
I don't think he made it on the plane back.
I know.
He might be on Greyhound. You know what I mean? He'd be on the house.
Might be staying at Jake Elliott's house.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez. Sure.
That's it, man.
But it's funny because it didn't take long. Nate Herbig, snaps the ball over a 6'6" quarterback's head and outstretched arms. That was sort of a microcosm for the entire game.
It started like that and went straight downhill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like my show yesterday where I just wasn't prepared with my battery, and all of a sudden, bam, the thing goes out. So I'm prepared this time, but the plug still doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work. I already ordered off Amazon. It's supposed to be in here. It's not here yet. So I have a computer sitting here on the wing, right in the waiting. So if it does go down too far for the show, I'll log on, and it'll be 2 pictures of me at first, and then I'll log off this one and go on the other one. I'm ready this time.
So you have a backup plan.
Yeah, I got my game face on, man. I got my game face on. I'm charging the other one right now, so I'm good. I mean, I had a place and plan where I ordered the cord. It was supposed to be here in the morning. It actually was supposed to be there last night because I ordered when it was on the show. It's supposed to be one of those, same day deals. It didn't get here, so I'm thinking it was going to be in the morning. It's not here, so I'll fix it. I got my other computer in the waiting, ready to rock and roll.
All right. Well, we got Mark McMillan coming on in the second hour.
Yeah,
that's good.
Talk some football, and he's got a lot to promote.
Yeah, he's early though, right?
12:10, but he might stay the whole rest of the show. Who knows?
Right, and then
we got a lot to promote. In fact, Barrett's doing the camp with him.
Yep,
right?
that's on third. That's next Thursday,
right?
And he's got to,
not the golf thing though. When is that?
No. I don't know if the golf thing is happening. He's doing something with Boston Scott out at their facility with his barbecue and bourbon stuff. So he'll promote that too and tell us everything that's going on. But
right,
and I know
we have Days and Garrow.
Okay, you reached out and he's coming on.
He's coming on at 11:30.
Okay,
so we got Days and Garrow at 11:30, and him texting him last night. He said, "This is embarrassing."
It is.
I was like, yo, and he never really talks ill about anything. He's like, all right, I kind of expect this, but this time he said I was definitely embarrassed. He said, Matt, we was talking about Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor started this game. He played every single snap, and he just looks disinterested being out there.
Yeah,
he has. If he ever just got 1 ounce of all right, I'm gonna fight you every single play, he'd be good, man.
Yeah,
good. Just like on the one interception or the one sack, he did a great job. He blocked the guy. He trapped him. He trapped his arms down, made the guy fall on the ground. Instead of jumping on him, he let him get back up, and he just stopped blocking. And then he was able. And then the quarterback held the ball longer than he's supposed to. Ends up being a sack. And it's just like if he'd just finished the play, he'd have looked like he was all world because he got the guy on the ground. He trapped him, got the guy on the ground. If he'd have just went in and just finished the play, it'd have been a great block. He'd have had 2 pluses on the play because he got a guy on the ground and he finished the play. But instead, he gets a minus on the play because this guy ends up getting the sack.
Well, I tell you who got a plus was Landon Dickerson for what he was wearing coming into the building last night.
Did he even play last night?
No,
that was amazing. No, he's still on.
He's hurt.
Yeah, I got nothing for a guy who's not out there. That's Tahani Jones playing a guitar,
bro.
Right? Get out there and play first.
You gotta see the outfit though.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
He looked like a hacksaw Jim Duggan. He did.
He did. Minus the 2x4. That's all he needed.
Get out there and play, man. Because the reality is, like, if Jalen Hurts or anybody else came out looking stupid like that, then he would be crushed. He would be crushed. And
that's his fine linen, though, man. His fine. Hey,
play a freaking football game first, please. Can you play a football game before you try and steal the show? Seriously,
bro. Say what you want to say, man. He gave the big men in this world hope.
Exactly.
Give your body, give the people what they want. Body just horrible. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, that's what I'm saying. You got to give the big guys a thumbs up with that. He doesn't care about anything else.
Right.
Let me do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. Period.
Well,
cowboy boots.
Yeah, cowboy boots and overalls.
Overall, that's
with
what
no shirt underneath. And I don't know if he even had underwear on. Who knows? I don't really want to know, but I'm just saying it looked like maybe he was, maybe he just got out of bed, threw on the overalls, buckled them up, threw on the cowboy boots, and went to the building. He didn't even bother with underwear.
Right.
Yeah. You offensive linemen are a different breed, man. I'll tell you what.
Bro, I was never like that. But he reminds me a lot of Steve Everett.
Oh yeah.
Everett was that same guy. Everett would come to work in flip-flops and those Zuby pants, them Zubas.
Zubas. Yeah.
And Zubas with no shirt on.
No,
that's what he came to workouts in.
All right, I gotta run out for a minute, so I'll be back in like 10 minutes. So
all right,
just hang tight. We're still live here. Ron's gonna be up and down, so we'll have everything set here.
All right.
Okay. But like Everett, you think he is? You think he's like Everett in a lot of ways?
Like Everett, man. I don't know. I wonder if he chews snuff. I told you about Everett, man. He'd be sitting there. We're in the meetings, and we had a carpet floor, and he'd be chewing dip and spit it. If he didn't have a cup or
he'd swallow
water bottle, no, he would spit on the ground and use the sole of his feet to rub it into the carpet.
Oh,
yeah, man. Yeah,
where did he grow up? A barn?
Right.
Seriously, that's disgusting.
I think he was a Michigan guy too. Didn't he go to Michigan?
He was.
Yeah, a Michigan guy too, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I
wow.
just, he's down in the Keys right now. He owns a restaurant.
Really? I'd love to go eat there. This guy's spitting dip into the carpet, and now he wants people to come and pay to eat his food. I'm sure that's a real clean kitchen.
I think it's more so drinking there.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Because alcohol, kills all those type of germs anyways. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, man, he looked like the classic the classic O lineman, man.
Wow.
Like I never played those O lineman games. Like it started like when I was in college. And there was the nastiest guys in the world, man, to play with me on the offensive line. And I was never that guy. Like, look, guys, we're good. I know I'm a freshman. But, hey, if you play these games with me, I'm telling you, I won't be a freshman. I'm going home because I'm going to beat one of you up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to knock one of you out, bro. So they just left me alone. But, like, they'd be in the showers. And I look over, and one of them would be urinating on the other one's leg while he's got soap in his hair. And I'm looking at him, and dude starts laughing. Oh, you got me. No, it's not. You got me. I mean,
I never got all that locker room hijinks stuff.
No,
to me, there was a lot of weirdness going on, like with all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, what are you doing? Seriously,
bro, my boy, man, we came at the same time. Jim Himmelowski, we came at the same time.
At K-State?
Yeah, at K-State, we came at the same time. Well, one of the guys had a blister, and they cut the blister off his foot. And the guy they cut the blister off said, man, hey, Jim, I'll give you $50 if you eat this. Jim put it in his mouth and started chewing it. He eventually spit it out.
Wait, the skin of the blister?
Off the bottom of his damn foot.
Oh, see, that's what I
mean. $50,
like,
he did it.
For $50. He really needs $50
Bro,
that
you couldn't
bad?
pay me $1 million to eat something off of a man's foot, dog.
Well, now, $1 million. I don't know. $1 million? You might have something there.
Hell
really?
No. Hell to the no, man. That's on about this dude. And we was at practice.
Right.
We just practiced. And it wasn't washed off or anything. So it still had pus on one side.
Oh.
You know, there was pus on one side where it was where it was, inside the blister.
Yeah.
And on the outside, he's been running around. We had just practiced. Oh, man. Come on, man. Oh, I just wouldn't be having it, man. So that offensive linemen, they do stuff like that. I just never partaked in those type of things.
Well, the stream, SD on the stream points out that Mertitas is a locker room hijinks guy. You're absolutely right. He's disgusting. And he's all into that kind of stuff, that nonsense. Being in the room.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't even I wasn't on the comments. I had to switch to the comments. Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was bad, bro. It was bad. Martinez would be that guy. He would definitely be that guy.
Yeah, like reveling in how bad you smell and being proud of it, like that kind of stuff.
When you're sitting in a meeting, bro, and you see one of them, just raise up like this.
Yeah, right.
And then it just turned putrid inside the room. And it'd be come on. I mean, come on, guys.
Thanks a lot. Have some respect for not only the rest of the room, but yourself.
Right. I mean, just don't lift your leg up, man. Come on, dog. It was horrible, man. They'd be out, we practicing, and instead of going to use the bathroom, they just, urinate right on themselves right there.
Yeah.
Like, dude, go to the bathroom, man. Go to the bathroom.
Now,
bro.
Jackson Avian says, I hate to do it to you, but I'd eat that blister with hot sauce for a cool $1 million. Yeah, you put a lot of Tabasco on there. Maybe, you don't taste it. And that would kind of maybe burn out the pus part of it. Yeah, but $1 million, dude. Come on, man.
No.
Carlos Deuce says that buys a lot of mouthwash. So, all right, but in all seriousness, I know we got Dave Zangaro coming up at 11:40. You've got Mark McMillan in the second hour. Was there anything what was your commentary on the post game when they came to you last night, Barrett? What was the question, the first question that you had to answer, and how'd you answer it?
I was basically like, if you look at it, this team has probably the worst backups, that you can look at. It's not a deep team. It's not a deep team. The starters are pretty damn good, but it's just not a deep team. Once you get past the starters or the first two, it'd be hard pressed to find guys that can come in and step in and play. When they say next man up, I can't see it. But I mean, I of course, I'm glass half full.
Right.
I was simply like, two guys really showed that they can play. Number one, Devontae Smith, and number two, our guy Singleton.
Right.
I mean, the guy flies around. He makes plays.
He's going to show up. As long as there's a game, he'll show up.
No question, man. Right. He loves to play the game. Right. He doesn't matter how long he has to play. He doesn't matter about reps. He just wants to play the game. And Devontae Smith, he just showed that he is ready for the NFL. Now, it took him a little bit when he first got in the game. He dropped 2 balls, but I'd like to have seen him caught that back shoulder throw Right.
That Flacco put on him.
The biggest thing, he didn't blame anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything but, hey, I just got to play better. I got to become more focused.
Yeah.
It's, they try to say it was rust. It's not rust. I have to go in and do my job. I got to get focused. I got to make those type of catches. I get paid to make those type of catches. And that's a stand-up guy. I like that.
That one route that he ran where he ended up juking the defender a little bit, and then he got the first down was a really nice route run.
Right, he ran in, pirouetted around, turned around, got it. I mean, he has separation. There was nobody that can cover him.
Mm-hmm.
He had separate. Even on the first place he dropped, it wasn't really a drop because the quarterback should have got Flacco should have got the ball to him faster.
Mm-hmm.
He should have got him. On that route, it's a crossing route, a little dig route. He had six feet of separation from him.
Right.
All they had to do is if he gave it to him on time when he was supposed to get it, and that was like, after he came out the break and he turned around and started flattening out, the ball should have got to him right then. Instead, he got almost halfway across the field.
Yeah.
He at least got to the hash marks.
Yeah,
he was the outside receiver.
Flacco doesn't look very good. I'll tell you, if Jalen Hurts for some reason cannot play, this team's going to be in trouble.
I hate to do it to you.
Yeah,
but you know what? It did show that at this point, Jalen Hurts is the man. Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback. Even after the game in Flacco in the post game, his commentary was as such. Hey man, everybody's accept the roles, next man up. They called my number and I stepped up. That's him basically saying, all right, I'm designated the backup quarterback now. So his whole mindset, this whole framework of how he was thinking, this entire camp has changed because now he sees that Hurts is the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ever thought that really was in question. I didn't get
he thought it was.
Hurts did?
Yeah. No, not Hurts. No, Flacco. Flacco told you. Remember, he told us from the beginning he's coming in and he wants to, start.
Yeah. Well, I never paid much attention to that. In fact, on Philly Voice, Jimmy Kempski was challenged with handing out 10 awards for the game. Okay, that was his assignment. Now, so I'm like, that's going to get a click from me because I don't know how you even could get close to 10.
Right.
But number 2 is that's what it'll look like if Hurts goes down award, and that goes to Joe Flacco. So he wasn't impressed by Flacco's performance either. The other thing is, what's your take on the rest of the wide receiver? I forget about Rager and Quez Watkins. Fulgham hasn't been having a good camp thus far either.
Right.
J-Jaw, we know what he's been doing, which is next to nothing.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You don't know what these guys, where they're at. They're playing in the game.
Right.
It was so bad that
but he didn't play until the second half, Fulgham.
Right, but that's telling right there because now you're playing against guys that are supposed to be inferior to you.
Right.
You were a starter last year.
That's not a
you're
good
playing
sign.
Against backup. Yeah, I told you before. There were times. There was one time where I had, I was in Pittsburgh, and I had to play until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was a backup, and the starters didn't play at all. So I had to, I had to play a substantial part of that game. And I'm out there, and I'm playing against second and third and fourth teams.
Right.
I had a field day because the talent level from which I was accustomed to playing for as a starter. Now I'm playing against guys that don't really belong on the field, or I felt disrespected. I was out there with them. So I made sure that I left no doubt in the coach's mind that
and you dominated.
And bro, it was like taking can. That was most fun I've had in years because I was able to just dump guys on their head and just stop and finish them. And I did everything to demoralize whoever's in front of me so the coaches would know. Right. This is a great opportunity for guys like Herbig, guys like Matt Pryor, Williams to go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? Milton Williams to go out there and play. These guys should have really turned the corner, showed, hey, I belong on this team. But a lot of guys show they don't.
Yeah.
Michael Jaquette, I don't know if he makes it back to the film room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got shook. He got demoralized. When he rubbed up there, he got juked and he got left in this. He got left in his shoes. Yeah. I mean, he just fell to the ground, bro.
I thought the quarterback Jones looked pretty good for two straight weeks now.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. But
Cam Newton looked all right too.
So did Cam. I was about to say, so did Cam. So they have a legitimate quarterback battle. We don't have it anymore. Zach McPherson, he had a rough day, bro. He had a really rough day, man. And, they ran the same route on him like 3 times for big yardage.
Right.
It was nothing but a dig route, crossing routes. He couldn't get over the top. You know what I'm saying? They drive him off, they stack him, and then push him back out. And it was just hard for him to do it. I
just wonder how those quarterbacks would have looked if the starting defensive front was in there for at least a couple of series last night.
They were.
We're never going to. The starting defensive front? No, they didn't play at all.
Oh, you talking about the Eagles? I'm talking about
the Eagles. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
no, the Patriots started. They
played their guys, and then they blitzed too. They blitzed the entire game.
Well, you could tell, Hoodie was upset probably with the way that they performed in those joint practices. It was like the exact opposite. The Eagles were satisfied with the way they looked all week in practice and didn't give a rat's you-know-what about that game. Exactly. And it was the exact opposite for the Patriots. So the Eagles MVP award goes to Jack Stoll, the tight end, according to Kemsky. Stoll.
No idea what that is.
Yeah, I know. He had 4 catches. He had 4 catches last night.
When was he even on the field?
In the second half, I guess.
I didn't see 46 or something like that.
If you think I was dialed into the second half of that game, no way.
Well,
between that and the Phillies' performance yesterday, the Phillies' performance all week,
they got swept by the Diamondbacks.
Swept, and Wheeler got rocked again.
Well, I mean, I had the Diamondbacks on that. 2
Did you?
3. Yeah, yesterday it was ridiculous. You had to pay a pretty hefty price on Zach Wheeler yesterday for a team that is just absolutely trash. And his last time out, he got rocked.
Yeah, he's dead 2 times in a row. You're right.
The
Reds did it to him previously.
Look, I know I'm no brand ambassador for Caesars or any local book here, but anybody betting the Phillies yesterday or in this series is just not paying attention at all.
Well, Realmuto and Harper went a combined 1 for 22 in the 3 games against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
It's hard to win that way. I mean, you're just not producing runs.
We went from talking about MVP candidates to, Cy Young Award front runners.
That's quickly fizzled. It's on to football season. It's almost like the Phillies knew, like, hey, all right, we played well up until mid-August. We grabbed some people's attention. But we're not ready for prime time. When the light really went on, they just, they wilted, and now it's football season.
Yep.
Now, the only other thing we had is this Simmons thing that came out, where apparently Atlanta offered Cam Reddish and Danilo Gallinari for Simmons with no draft assets involved.
Whoa, that's where we are with this? Cam Reddish and Gallinari?
Yeah.
Wow. Reddish is a local kid, but there's no way I'm doing that deal. Are you?
Way. No way.
I don't know. It just shows you how little teams think they can start this negotiation process with. Like, we'll come back and why don't you counter?
That's embarrassing to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brogdon in a first-round pick is way better than that, right?
Well, you're going to start looking at that as more of a realistic possibility to go back to Indiana because here's the thing, though. Morey went out and asked for everything. And now teams are like, all right, well, I'm just going to give you the opposite.
Right. I'm going to give you garbage.
Yeah.
Wow. And our buddy Brian Seltzer is no longer with the Sixers organization. Did you see that?
No.
He just he left and is going to KYW News Radio to do podcasting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like news podcasting?
I don't really know what it's going to be, but it was just announced this morning.
Wow, leaving one station for another. Seems like a pretty consistent theme here. Unbelievable.
Yeah, how about that? So, and I saw another thing on basketball where LeBron is all upset now.
Oh, because he was called washed?
Yeah, well, that and he got 0 votes apparently from these scouts and whoever puts together these awards. Right. Like for the best player in the league or something. He got 0 votes, and he's using that as his motivation now, to grind him for next season. Why couldn't one of these guys at least had voted for him so I don't have to read this drivel?
I don't know. You had one guy, whoever that idiot was up in Boston, Washburn or something like that. Remember the year in which LeBron should have been unanimous. He was the one holdout and voted for Carmelo Anthony.
What year was that?
I can't tell you the specific year, but it was a, hey, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
I vote, so look at me.
Right.
Yeah, in this case, it's the opposite. You're right. It is exactly the opposite. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, washed. Hashtag washed. Washed up, I guess, is the.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Washed up. All right.
Yep.
All right, we got to take a quick one here. We're back in 3. It's the middle across the board.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
On the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, now we got 2 games tonight, right? Anything more from last night?
There's plenty.
Well, I could go out and run another errand if you want to break down the game again. By all means.
Well, we can talk about the game and the Eagles with Zangaro, but yeah, I'd rather move on from the game, man. I'll tell you, I'm more interested in watching video of the Raiders and the Rams brawl at practice that ended practice yesterday.
It had to happen before also. You got to brawl, man. I've had it happen before also.
Yeah. Well, when you're practicing against another team.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had to, separate us and send us on. We had to get up out of there.
Yeah. Now Gruden says he's embarrassed by it, right? He's on record as saying that. But deep down inside, don't these coaches kind of like that stuff?
Love it.
Yeah. They can't come out and say it.
Right. I mean, it's not politically correct anymore to do stuff like that. But yeah, they love it. They want the competitive nature. They want that. They want to see who's trying to compete. Who's trying to, make it happen. So you love that type of deal.
Right. Now, I don't know if you had any plays on the total in that game last night. Yeah, did you? Because it pushed on the first half over, didn't it?
No, it was 19.5.
Oh, it was a 19.5, so it went under.
It was too, and
but here's the thing. And again, you're not gonna get this from somebody who is just, oh, hi, I work for a book, and therefore you should bet this. But the reality is that was the right look. We didn't know about Jalen Hurts when that bet was placed for the majority of bets placed. So that's still the right side of that bet. The Eagles should have been 2 totals and the difference between the majority of unders. So I still maintain that going over 38.5 was the right play. We just didn't know that Jalen Hurts was out. Now, the other thing I would say to you is if anybody sat through that first half and saw just how bad the Philadelphia Eagles offense was, and then knew, like we all did, that Nick Mullins was the guy to come in.
He's on deck.
How do you not slam that under 40.5? Somebody on Twitter said as soon as the Flacco fumble happened, it jumped up to 42.5.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Like that whole thing about the total and all these preseason unders. Well, it's like 15-3 or whatever it is in 3. And there are 3 games that went over, the Eagles being one of them. Right. It was the right side of the bet. Like you don't win everything. And there are certain bets that you lose that you still feel good about because it's like I was on the right side of it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I can't believe did the total for the game go down before kick when they realized Hurts wasn't playing?
No, because that came out right at kick.
Okay, so was it still 38? Was it 38?
38.5.
Okay.
What's up, Dave Zangaro?
There he is.
Dave,
what's up, guys?
bro?
How you doing?
Oh man, that's a nice plant you got working back there. What is that?
It's fake. It's a fake plant. Yeah, it would be dead by now if it was real.
Not a green thumb, are you, huh?
Yeah, when I bought that, I bought one for I bought these 2 big plants. I got them from one of these like home goods stores. But I have like a pretty small car. I have an Altima, so I'm like shoving them in there, and it looks like I'm like in a jungle driving home. Yeah. What's going on, guys? How are you?
I'm trying to not talk about whatever that was last night. I'm distracted by your fake plant.
Yeah, it was wasn't fun to watch, was it?
Whew. What was it?
Yeah, how do you feel about how they how they handled, the Hurts situation and how it like snowballed into all these guys not playing, man? You think that was professional? You think was that Nick Sirianni, taking command of his team and making the decision to, to Nick's guys playing? I mean, how do you think he, did with that whole situation? Then, talking about it.
Yeah, well, the Hurts thing, if he's not feeling well, he has to go checked out at the hospital. That's one thing. And that you're right. They kind of snowballed from there because they were going to play their starting O-line. And then they were like, well, we're not going to do that now. So you had 2 starters out of the 5 out there. But, even if Hurts played, I don't think he was going to play a ton. I think we're probably looking at, another 2 or maybe 3 series. So this was basically what we're going to see anyway. Of course, we wanted to see what Hurts was going to do with that first team offense, but we're going to see a lot of the backups anyway. And on defense, I mean, none of the D-line played. Slay was out. The only guys who really played a ton were the linebackers, and they maybe played too much when you're talking about, yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky thing because I understand that they value the joint practices, and I get that. Like, I think there is. I agree with them philosophically that there's more value in the joint practices because you can set it up the way you want. If you want to see a red zone period, you put them in the red zone, and you don't have to wait for the situation to dictate it. But I think there is a difference. You're not tackling to the ground. It's not real football, and this is kind of the way the league's going. I don't want to just single out the Eagles. I mean, a lot of teams are kind of doing this now where they're just not putting the emphasis on the preseason. But it's a hard sell for, to get people in the stands to watch that. And, for a guy like Nick Sirianni, it was like last night was the first tough question I really had to ask him was, how do you be the competition guy and then put that out on the field? It doesn't seem to mesh, right? I mean, he's talked about competing in everything, and they weren't competitive last night. So
not at all.
You know, I get the point of emphasizing the joint practices, but I don't think these preseason games are complete throwaways either.
Dave, my theory would be that he's simply full of bleep. and it's not a negative. It's not, but like John Gruden has made a career of platitudes, of just building up these hollow platitudes. And we all knew that Joe Flacco wasn't going to be the starter. So what it did is it hurt the credibility of other positions that we knew there was going to be competition. Again, it doesn't mean that Sirianni, Dave can't coach, all these other things. It's just, it was a really tough sell to believe that he comes in as the competition guy. And to your point, or maybe not, maybe what I'm taking from it, last night, I think, proved to a lot of people that he's just like everybody else, trying to get his feet wet and trying to get a handle on this thing.
Yeah, and I do think he has stressed competition in a lot of ways. We've seen it at practice. I mean, they're very competitive practices. And even back in the spring, he was finding ways. They do like these little competitions. So he does care about competitiveness, but it's tough to care about it in practice and then put that product on the field in a preseason game. It's tough to be competitive when you're putting guys out there who aren't going to be on the team. And that's the other big takeaway is the depth on this team. And we've seen it in 2 weeks. It's
sucks.
Yeah. I mean, especially that second, third team defense, those defensive linemen.
That's draft picks. There were draft picks out there.
I don't want to single too many guys out, but like Marlon Tuipulotu in 2 games. This is a guy who played at USC, who I thought would acquit himself nicely, has really struggled all summer. He's not ready. I don't even know if he's worth a practice squad spot at this point.
You're right about that. So that's kind of telling, because at this point, I don't see him as a guy that's even going to, be on the team. So why even let him go out there and take reps? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
that's why
I didn't
want to learn his name. I didn't even try to learn his name.
It's a tough name.
Just call him by his first name too. Yeah,
I'm not calling him anything. He's out of here.
He's out.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, what did you think about the wide receiver depth position? I mean, you see Fulgham, JJ, Arcega-Whiteside, and Hightower playing a lot in that second half against backups, and none of them really did anything to stand out. Where are those guys right now?
Yeah, you're right. And again, though, it was tough to get an evaluation on some of those guys last night because of what was around them too. Mm-hmm. The offensive line was bad. The quarterback play was bad. And I'm not saying those guys deserve a pass, but it's tough to get a read on them.
Right.
What I'll say is that I think all 3 of those guys are in jeopardy that you mentioned. Fulgham, we came into this camp thinking he was a lock.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case right now. I haven't seen anything to me that says he needs to be on this team. And, J-Job played, like 7 snaps and he had 1 drop.
Mm-hmm.
Hightower, he was having an up and down camp before he got hurt. He missed a lot of time. I mean, it was encouraging to get him back out there. But, yeah, I mean, they have 3 starters in Devontae Smith,
Rager
and Watkins. They have Greg Ward, who you can at least rely on, and then a lot of question marks. So it's a young group, and it doesn't look very deep right now.
Is this kind of telling on, when guys were starting to look at Howie, like, all right, Howie did something. Look, he's got a guy, he went up and got Smith, and then now, guys are starting to turn the corner. Rager, they say Rager's having a better camp now. But, you see the lower guys not really doing too much. And the depth on this team are young guys that are the depth. The receiver position are the only guys really that are really playing at a nice level. Everybody other than that, I can't see him doing very much. Williams will play good. McPherson got roasted yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He had
a rough game
for
him.
Tough day yesterday.
It's been a rough week for him. I mean, I thought he struggled in the first preseason game, and then in the joint practices, I thought he got bested quite a bit. And then he has the game yesterday where, it seemed like Cam was targeting him with a lot of time, granted, but it seemed like Cam was targeting him. He had that defensive hold. He had a poor effort on the tackle attempt on that touchdown. So it would be a big week for him. Especially a young defensive back, seeing how he responds to it. Because as a defensive back, you're going to get beat. You're going to have these moments. So this is really the first time in his young career where he's been tested. So, and he's someone, you can look at some of those guys last night and be like, they're not going to play this year. They're not going to be on the team. He has a big role. He's the top outside backup. And based on what we've seen the last few years, he's going to play. as a rookie. So he's someone to watch over this next week and see how he responds to it.
Dave, how do you think they handle this coming week in practice now, going up against a team that they are going to face in the regular season in the Jets? With these joint practices, the Jets are going to get to really look at, some of the things that they do. How do you think they go about this next week?
Yeah, it's a good question because you're right. The Patriots, they don't play in the regular season.
Right.
The good thing about the Jets game is that I think it's week 13. So you have a long time before you see them in the regular season. So I think they might hold a little bit back, but I think it's fair to say a lot's probably going to change between now and week 13. So I don't think it's going to be like, it's not going to be, hopefully it's not as vanilla as it was last night. I think they're going to show some stuff. Maybe they hold a little bit back, but they need it. I mean, especially if we know the way they feel about the preseason. So they're going to need these 2 days to really be like a game for them and to really get the final evaluation on a lot of these players because they're going to have to make roster spot decisions on these practices.
Yeah. I wonder, do we have any idea what they're going to do with the running back position as far as like actually on the field throughout the games?
We're starting to get some hints. The one thing with Miles Sanders that we've seen all summer and it's troubling are the drops. Because in order for him to be fully utilized in this offense, he has to catch the ball. And I don't think you can just make him a runner. So I think at a certain point, you kind of have to live with the drops if you're Nick Sirianni. You can't stop throwing the ball to Miles Sanders because when he does get it, he's such a threat. So you'd like to see him clean that up. We have seen a lot of 21 personnel from them in training camp, which I kind of like. They have the personnel to use it. If it's Miles and Boston out there or Miles and Kenny Gainwell, who I think is going to have a role, at least as a pass catcher in year one, and he should at that position. That's the one thing. Running backs in this league, they can play from day one, and I would use them right away. So I'm curious to see how much 21 we see. It's I think they used it like 5 times last year under Doug. So I think it could be a personnel package that they try to utilize and get good matchups throughout the season with. And I think they have the right players to do it. They have guys who can be threats to catch the ball out of the backfield. And that's kind of what you want when you're in that personnel grouping. So ultimately, it's still Miles Sanders. He's still the top guy, but they're going to mix the other two in there. I'm talking about Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell. And look, I think Jordan Howard's probably on this team too. So I think he'll have some kind of role. I think really the reason you keep Jordan Howard around is if Miles gets hurt, you have someone that can kind of shoulder the load.
No question, and also I look at the offense and I feel as though I got lied to again. And I'm be saying run the ball till I'm blue in the face again. I mean, all right, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
it's a duck.
So first preseason game, we threw the ball, religiously. The next game, we throw the ball religiously. And I'm thinking since we have a second-team quarterback and we see Mullins is not playing well, then you run the ball. Did we run the ball? Nope. So, all right. So that walk like a duck in the first game, quacks like a duck the second game. The third game, if he goes out there airing it out again, then I'm screwed for the rest of the year because I'm going to be screaming run the ball and they're not going to do it.
I think they're going to run more than they did last year, obviously under Doug. You have to remember a big part of their offense is going to be utilizing Hurts' legs or at least the threat of his legs. So we're going to see a lot more read option, maybe even some RPO stuff that they're not going to show in the preseason. We've seen glimpses of it in practice. So just by that stuff alone, I think they're going to be a little heavier with the run. I agree with you. In the preseason, we haven't seen it, but they'd be foolish not to run the ball, especially if that right side of the line is healthy, because those guys, and we've seen it, in the few practices they've been back together with Brooks out there, you can run behind those two guys. And I think they will. It's tough trying to gauge. I feel like I've learned a lot more about Sirianni's offense from practices than these games. These games to me really aren't indicative at all of what his offense is going to be. So I wouldn't worry too much about that in the games. I think we've seen a pretty good blend in the practices. And they haven't tried to hide the fact that they care more about the practices than the games.
My only concern with this, and it's a big one, is that there are so many new moving and really new parts to this system. It's not like the coach has been here with an offensive system and there's a new quarterback who's a veteran. It's not like even on defense where there are guys who have been here for a while that they're used to it. And look, I'm not saying that it takes you 6 or 8 weeks in the regular season, combine the preseason, to figure out who to throw the football to, but they really look like they're doing themselves, maybe it's just due to circumstance, Dave, a disservice by not getting quality reps to at least get that feel to where you can build from practice to the game, because that's where I think there is probably going to be some struggle maybe early on, is the disconnect from great practice, guys. We were competitive. We got everything we need to get done, to, wait a second, we're not going up against a hodgepodge of 1s, 2s, and 3s right now. This is a third quarter against a head coach who can game plan and react at the half. That's what I'd like to see a little bit more, but I don't think we're going to get that week 3.
No, you definitely won't get it. And it's kind of a philosophical thing with Sirianni. It's does the need to see it in a game outweigh the advantage he thinks he has because no one's seen his scheme? And he doesn't. He thinks that's his biggest advantage right now, is that no one necessarily knows what he's going to run, and he's going to hold that close to the vest. So, I mean, whether or not that's the right decision or not, that's his thinking. So, yeah, you're not going to see it. I mean, the third preseason game is going to be just as vanilla as the first two because he thinks that's his advantage. And look, and I can tell you from watching every practice, the offense they run in practice is not the offense we've seen in these first two preseason games. So, right or wrong, defense also. Yeah, I mean, defense, you're right. I mean, it's been very vanilla. But that they think right now that's the advantage they have on the league is that.
Does that work? Like, do we have, I don't know how many examples you've covered, a lot in different cities. Like, this is so many new pieces that's my concern, which is like Sirianni maybe getting over his skis, right? To think that, yeah, man, you have, like, it worked with the Colts to hide stuff because people knew what they were doing. Does that make sense? Like that, the concern about, I don't even know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think, and I'll play devil's advocate a little bit because I'll try to see it from his perspective. His perspective is guys do know what they're doing. We're seeing it in the practices, which he cares about more than the games. So it's tough because the rest of the world, and you guys are watching these preseason games, and the team doesn't care about them. You know, the team cares about what they're seeing in practice, and it's like a leap of faith, right? It's like, I guess if the coach says it's working because you don't see it. And I get why that's scary for fans, because you're watching. How do you watch that game last night and not be scared, right? It looks awful, but and I'm not even trying to defend what they did last night, but
no.
I think that's what their thought process is, that, hey, we're seeing what we want to see in these practices, and we feel like we're in a good spot based on what we've seen. So we're going to hold what we do close to the vest. We're not going to let the rest of the league scout us on that, even though I think, the rest of the league's not a bunch of dummies. They kind of know what's coming. They can kind of see the past of Sirianni. They can see the past of Gannon and kind of figure out, at least at its base, what these schemes are going to be. But they do have some wrinkles that they can throw in that teams haven't seen, and they're going to try to utilize that.
The benefit of them playing their next game on a Friday night is we don't have to talk about it the next day, because by Monday, everybody will have forgotten about it.
My favorite part of last night, we're in the second half, and in some of these preseason games, you look up the clock and you're like, how are there 11 minutes left in the third quarter? And at one point, Rube looks at me and just goes, we have to do a podcast on this. And we're like, oh, no. Wow. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah. You know what's worse than that? I'm sitting in there with Seth, and Seth's across the room. And he leans up, looks down at me and says, hey, Brooksy, I'm not watching this anymore, man. I'm watching YouTube.
He went to YouTube.
I saw Seth last night. I walked in and I see Seth. I haven't seen Seth in a long time, since last season. I walked in. I said, "What'd you think?" And he just goes, "Ugh." He just walked away. He just like grumbled at me. I missed that.
I mean, he was hot, man. But I mean, you're right, man. It's not the same things you see in camp. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because in camp I see numerous ways especially on the defensive side of the ball where, they couldn't stop the run yesterday. They were playing so vanilla they couldn't stop it. You see Belichick, he's blitzing. Mm-hmm. But if you go to practice I mean, these guys are mixing up as far as fronts. They're playing overs. They're playing unders. They're playing bare fronts, where they cover the center of both guards. Yeah, so you don't even see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see we'll say this. I don't see at this point the stripping of the ball and all that stuff, trying to create turnovers that I see in practice. But, it should carry – I hope it carry over to the season. But, I mean, I see all this stuff in practice, then I don't see any of it in the game.
Yeah, and that's what I talked about. It's kind of like
we're talking about practice. Somebody's got to cue the Allen Iverson.
Can you trust what you see during the week? And
right.
I don't know the answer. I don't know how good this team's going to be. But I can tell you the team we've seen at practice is not the team we've seen in the games. Even last week when they performed well.
Yeah,
that's still what's like schematically. That's still not what we've seen during the week. So it's tough to figure out. But I do think it's not going to look like it did in these couple of preseason games.
I was supposed to be the franchise player, and we sitting here talking about practice.
Amazing. Dude, I mean, I give my all out there. Are we talking about practice? Practice?
But
that's what it is, man. And, I'm looking forward to seeing this next week. If he takes total command of everything again, because I didn't see it this last game. I saw it the first game, didn't see it the second game. Now in this third game, I want to see him take command again. I want to see, Nick Sirianni show us that, all right, this is my team as we go forward, and I'm making decisions now. Because, I saw him scrambling a little bit this first game, the second game. And, it made me a little nervous on, who this guy is. But, we'll see. We'll see. Against the Jets team, young quarterback also. You can't just get beat up like that. I think they're going to need more reps from the starters this next game, than they had before. Because after this, it's like 2 weeks until they play their first game.
It's 23 days from today until they play Atlanta. And Atlanta looked like garbage in their first game.
You can not that you can afford injuries, but you have a long layoff after this third game before.
Right.
It's kind of like the way the old third preseason game was anyway.
Yep, play a half.
You had that long layoff, so I'd like to see the starters. I don't know if we're going to. Based on what,
right?
Yeah, based on what Sirianni said last night. He was asked if Hurts is going to play in the third preseason game, and he just went to. We have these joint practices coming up, and they're really valuable. So I'd like to see him a little bit more.
Not playing because, as you mentioned, Sirianni can gain more value from these joint practices than he can the preseason game.
Yeah, and look, generally I agree with him, but I'd still like to see a little bit in game action. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith out there. We haven't seen it yet in a game. That'd be nice to see. By the way, I was encouraged by Devontae. Even though we haven't talked about him, but even though he got off to a rough start, him and Flacco clearly weren't on the same page for a few of those, but he can separate. That was fun to watch, and it's a little glimpse of it, but I wouldn't worry too much about him after last night.
All right, hold on.
Glass half full.
Got to break real quick on the network. We're back in 3 on Sportsman Radio. All right, go ahead. I don't know how much longer you can stay, Dave, so you can leave whenever you like. I don't know what these guys told you as far as how long you've already been here.
Whatever you guys need.
Minutes. We love to keep you. I just, I don't want somebody to walk in the back of that stream being like,
I'm just out of questions to ask about.
I'm not.
Preseason, man. I can't wait till it ends.
Well, we talking about Devontae Smith and, how he approached the game. I was kind of surprised that he said that the game is slower. I can understand as far as, the pace of the offense and the pace of those guys out there, but is the game really that slow for him? Is he that dynamic of a player that? Because nobody could cover him out there. Any drops that he had, it's because he dropped them or the quarterback threw behind him. But I couldn't find anybody to cover him on any of the routes that he did. So the game might be that slow for him. I was surprised to hear him say that though.
Yeah, I don't think he was talking about
the players
like
in front
the
of
actual. Well, I don't think he was talking about actual game speed. I think he was talking about the pacing of huddling. And so in a way, he does have more time to process. He has more time to think about, which is kind of scary when you think about with him because he's already such a good route runner. He's going to the line and he's seeing, and he has time to process how he's going to attack each route. And with him, that's dangerous because he's such a good route runner. And we saw it in glimpses last night. He can, that one route he ran for the first down, it's funny. I had a lot of people tell me it was a routine route. No, it's not. Right. He dug his foot in the ground. He took off the other way. I mean, he was running in a sprint and cut in and sprinted the other way. That's not routine. He didn't round that out at all. So
no. I mean, it was precise. Creating separation. He stacked on the DB, banged him inside, was able to go outside. I mean, that's NFL caliber route running with the separation to go with it. It's saying he's too small, but he didn't look too small out there today. I mean, yesterday.
If you separate, that's all you need. I mean,
right.
I understand the fear of him like coming across the middle and getting hit, but he can separate, and that's all that really you need. He's fast enough too. We didn't get to see the deep speed yet,
right?
But he has like long speed. He has like he's not like Quez who's running a 4.35, but he has long speed. He's like a long strider.
Has Quez done anything to help him move up on the depth chart?
Quez? Oh yeah.
But like where?
He's in practice.
No. I'm saying where
like
do you
number 3?
Do you think he's now
like
I don't think he'd be the third behind Fulgham.
No, Fulgham. He's ahead of Fulgham.
He's ahead of Fulgham. So the way they've been lining up a lot is Devontae outside, Rager outside, and Quez in the slot. I think they're going to like rotate those guys a little bit. So me personally, I would put Rager in the slot a lot more than they have. I like him in small windows. I like his shiftiness more than Quez. I'd probably have Quez on the outside, but they've had a lot of Quez in the slot. They can kind of utilize, like we saw in that little bubble screen in the first game. They've utilized him a lot like that. He's going to play a lot. And it's kind of like Quez has been really good, and the other guys have struggled. Fulgham had a chance to earn a spot as a starter, and he hasn't done it. Hightower would have had an opportunity. He hasn't had a very good camp. So Quez, everyone seems impressed by Quez. The one cool thing about him is we all knew he was a burner. He worked really hard this offseason on, and I've talked to him a lot about it, but like harnessing his speed. So getting in and out of breaks, like making it look like he's running the go on every play, and then getting into his break and cutting out. And I think he's learned a lot. He worked out with Calvin Ridley this offseason, who's really good at that kind of stuff. And I think it's showing. He's a much better player than he was last year.
Bama boys. Yep.
Yeah.
Ridley's another good player.
I need to see this stuff against teams. They have a murderer's row the first 4 weeks of the season, and I'm not going to get crazy about a guy who, now granted, last year was a disaster, and if you believe Travis Fulgham, people were purposely shifting around the depth chart for whatever reason, but it's just hard, guys. And I'm not speaking just to Dave here. I don't want this to be like, why is
you think Atlanta's a murderer's row?
I think that 1 through 4. If you don't beat Atlanta, you're going 0 for 4.
Well, yeah, then yeah, right.
Yeah, and I don't think Atlanta is an easy victory by what I've seen on the field, and they've got guys that are stepping right into that absence of Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley being one of them, the rookie that they got as well. They did get a little bit better on defense, and look, they have a quarterback who can make throws. That's all I care about. So my point being is that I don't know. This whole thing with Sirianni and like buying into Sirianni means that you have to, and I feel like this is kind of the social convo with it, which is like, man, everything is so much different and better than it was over the last couple of years. I don't know, man. Like when I hear Sirianni talk, I'm sorry, guys, I don't believe him. I don't believe in him. I don't. He doesn't. And look, that could be me, and I'll gladly own it. We'll have Zangaro back on, and he can say off the network on the stream, you bleeping, dumb mother bleeping. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You wasted 25 minutes of my time back at the end of August for this crap. I want to be the first to tell you, Shander, enjoy this crow. It's just hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's, the G Cobb Negadelphia in me. I don't know what it is anymore. But
what about him? What about him do you not believe in? Like, what about him does not resonate?
He seems like a mini Gruden. He seems like he's built off these platitudes. And like, I'm waiting for a story, Dave, where he comes out and tells you or somebody else in the media about competition, where he likes to set the shower really hot and then jump to cold and see how much of his body he can wash before it gets too cold, and then repeat the cycle. Like that's
I
what
get
I'm
what you're saying, and like it can.
I'm not asking you to defend or validate me. We're just having a conversation. Like this.
Sure, I get it, and I think there's like
because I love you, man. I don't want you to
can
think
hear some of this stuff. Like you can hear some of the stuff he goes through, and you wonder how the players are going to receive it, right? And that's the biggest thing. Is like if he's saying all this stuff and the players are rolling their eyes, then it's worthless. But I don't get the sense that that's been the case. I get the sense that the players really do like him and they are buying in. And, I've seen moments with him, and you always wonder too, like when you're a quote unquote players coach, like, do you have what it takes to then flip it and be a hard ass?
Be the heavy. Yeah.
With Doug, didn't it not work?
What?
Where he had to, like, towards the end of his tenure, he was this player's coach and he was very buddy, and it was hard for him to put his foot down.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know if that was his problem. There were a lot of problems at the end. But I have seen Sirianni give some really tough coaching. And I've seen him be really hands-on. Look, I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea. Yeah, with Rager especially. And the receivers. That's his specialty, right? Look, I don't know if he's going to be a good coach, but I've actually been pretty impressed by what I've seen this summer from him. And the key for anything that he's done is that it looks like the players are buying in, and it starts with the veterans. If he does all this competition, 5 core values stuff, and Jason Kelsey's at the back of the room rolling his eyes, then it's all for nothing. But I don't get that sense. And from private conversations I've had with players, they actually really do seem to like this guy. That it seems like they're buying in. Now, are they talented enough to be a good team? I don't know, but I don't think that he's in over his head. I really don't. I think he's had a pretty impressive summer, honestly.
To be fair, though, there aren't many people that have the tenure and stature left to criticize, right?
Yeah.
Kelsey ain't going to be here much longer. Brandon Graham is basically holding on. Lane Johnson may be the only guy. Brandon Brooks is hurt more than he is healthy.
Cox.
Fletcher Cox has been involved in trade rumors and all this other stuff happening here. Jalen Hurts is probably on the way out, no matter how well he plays. You're right. I mean, who?
Yeah, but I mean, those are the veterans, but those are the veterans. So if they're here right now, so you have a lot of it, for better or worse, you have a lot of star players on this team, star players who are over 30. But if they don't buy into the coach, then the younger players aren't. So that's the way I view it. Like you have. Fletcher Cox is a leader on the team, and Brandon Graham is a leader on the team, and Jason Kelsey is a leader on the team as long as they're here. So I think that Sirianni was wise to come in and try to get those guys on his side, because once they are, the younger guys are going to do whatever the heck the veterans are saying and whatever the veterans are doing.
Speaking of a veteran who's still here.
Okay.
What?
Dave, we're just keeping Dave until Dave.
I just got one more.
Okay.
Because Zach Ertz is still here, and there's now 2 injuries in the depth chart at the tight end position. Rodgers gets hurt last night. The young kid got hurt during the week, is going to be on the shelf for a while. That means Zach Ertz going to be here at least till the trade deadline?
No, well, I don't think Rodgers got hurt. Kroom got hurt.
Or Kroom, I'm sorry. Yeah, wrong guy.
I mean, Kroom wasn't going to be here anyway. The Tyree Jackson one's interesting because he had a very good camp, so I don't know if they'd risk lose. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with him, if they basically redshirt him or if they carry him through. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been so wrong about the Zach Ertz thing all summer and really all offseason. I didn't think he'd be here right now. I thought he'd be gone by the draft. I thought he'd be gone in April. So I guess with every passing day, it's more likely he's going to play here. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense, honestly. I think they're a better team with him, but if he takes snaps away from Dallas Goedert, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. I think with that, like I said, with every day he's here, it's more likely he'll be on the roster.
Awesome. Good stuff, Dave. Appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, fellas. Take care.
You got it, man. Dave Zangaro joining us. All right. And if you're not following Dave on Twitter, it's Dave Zangaro NBCS, correct? There's no underscore in there.
I don't think there is.
No, it's D Zangaro.
D Zangaro. That's it. Yeah.
NBCS. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't believe in this guy. I have.
Well, there's a couple people on the stream that are with you. I saw on here, I think it was Tone said, "Thank you, Eytan. I'm the same way." And then a little while later, Jimmy Blues says, I'm with Eytan. He's a poor man's Chucky, fake enthusiasm.
It just feels like it, man. And we spent so much time making fun of John Gruden with these, I tell you what, platitudes. The only thing that's different is that he's got this New York.
He doesn't have the accent like Chucky.
Yeah, he's got this northern upstate New York accent, and that's the only difference.
Tone says the Sirianni-isms, though, quote, the first thing about being smart is knowing what to do.
Right, Tom.
I'm telling you, man. I'm waiting for a John McMullen piece to come out in which Sirianni details the level of competition that he puts himself through in the morning, where he starts with the shower really hot, and then turns it cold, and he sees how long he can go before then has to take it cold and go back hot.
Right.
Man, if I can get 65% of my body washed in that first cycle, then I've done a good job. Then I can look myself in the mirror.
I'm attacking the shower.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And look, the problem, of course, is this team is not going to be good this year. It's not. Like 7-10 is going to be good compared to what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a good football team. So he's built this stuff up. And look, Zangaro is right. Dave is right. People are buying into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure people bought into Bobby Ross week 1, Barrett.
Barrett's old buddy.
And they bought into it, and then all of a sudden, like,
hold on. Coming back.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, great stuff from Dave Zangaro as we held him way too long. And Dave is just a great man. And here I am. Not only are we keeping him 30 minutes, but he's got to deal with my crap on top of that. So, boy, if we don't hear from Dave in like 3 months, that's when you know why. Just go back to this interview that he did. But he said some good stuff by all means.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this, Shan. I mean, you have every right to think that right now because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't blanked a drop yet. He hasn't done anything yet. I mean, he came out the first game. He had some success the first half, but then after that, we have had 6 quarters of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been outscored 52-0 in the past 2 games. But from that first
backups,
the backups, So is what have you done for me lately? What we see is not indicative of what I think this season is going to be. But what I'm seeing right now is very discouraging, man. It's hard for me to think that this team right now can really compete with the number 2s looking the way they are. If our starters don't stay healthy, this could be a long, long year.
Right.
There's no
long year.
Well, Lane Johnson wasn't impressed.
Yeah,
Didn't he say it was terrible last night or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't play.
No.
Right.
No.
Well, you say what Brooks said. Brooks said, well, we essentially had 2 straight games the past 2 days against the Patriots already. So, they were a little sore. That's why they didn't play. Well,
hey, they can't have it both ways. This is either a colossal disappointment and failure, and what Lane Johnson says speaks for the locker room, or preseason. Chalk up what both Brooks, Barrett just now saying what Brandon said, which is, hey, like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think if we're going to take what Lane said on surface value is true, then a lot of what we're talking about here with Dave and others about Sirianni, I don't think holds up.
No, you're right. I mean, here's the quote. Anytime you don't put anything up on the scoreboard, I don't care what you're doing. If you're in the nature of competing and being in competition, that's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
We're back in 3 on the network. Yeah. Back in 3 across the board. We got a break since we didn't break with Dave.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
This is The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
And now we get to see him again. Look at this. We are pleased and honored, especially after last night. Like, if there was ever an opportunity where somebody could bail about talking about a football game, it would be last night. And the great, longtime Eagles great, alongside here with Barrett Brooks, of course, we bring back Mark McMillan. What's happening, sir? Mighty Mouse in the house.
Mac.
What's going on, B. Brooks? Man, I'll see you in a couple of days.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Harry, all the guys, man, I appreciate you guys having me back on. I wish we were on better circumstances. I know a lot of people say, well, you know, because all I was hearing all week in practice is, oh my God, look at these catches Regular are making, and you know the defensive backs are getting their hands on the balls, and Cam Newton can't get the ball out. He's checking down a lot. All I saw last night was Cam Newton throw the ball downfield, make plays, and their running game was like we couldn't stop their running game. No matter what running back they placed in there, no matter what running back they placed in there,
they go 4 deep.
Yeah, which is, you know, we just can't forget that they're still a New England Patriots. You know, Belichick is still the coach. They got some good pieces around them, but we took a big step back, and you know, it's a question going. You know, what was going on with Mr. Hurst? Does he have a little stomach virus? Did he need a little Pepto-Bismol? Like, what was going on?
That's exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying? His tummy hurts wouldn't have been. You know, I understand it, man. But one thing I can't take, man, I can't understand is the laissez-faire attitude that players have these days. Like, realistically, I was pissed off when I looked at the sideline. And freaking rookies are out there with their pads off.
Yeah.
Young guys with their pads off.
Yeah.
I never did that. I never had the autonomy to go out there and take my pads off once I was done playing. These guys, you know, yucking it up, pads off, chilling. This younger generation, man.
Entitlement.
It's ridiculous.
You know, the entitlement. And, you know, even, you know, obviously the vets, you know, we know what the front guys are going to do. Like, I don't care if Cox and all those guys have their pads out. I know what they're going to bring to the table. But when you have defensive backs and linebackers, I was listening to one of the guys on the Eagles, watching it on TV, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, our linebackers are the best ever." And I'm thinking, like, I know you got to be a little biased, but we also got to be legit to the fan base. Yeah, we got to be legit to our fan base as well. And you can't sugarcoat it. It was bad. And from an offensive standpoint, our receivers struggled to get separation. They couldn't get off the jam, and New England got up in their faces. So it made it real difficult for those guys to create separation. And Nick Foles, I don't know. Maybe thought he was back at Delaware or something. I don't know what was going on.
Flacco.
Yeah.
Right, Flacco. Yeah.
All right, let me play.
Maybe we should get Nick Foles. I'm thinking,
let me play devil's advocate with you, Mark, and just say, hey, we just practiced against this same team for the last 3 days, and we kicked their tail up and down, according to everything you read, in most of those practice sessions, that we didn't really give a darn about the game. And the opposite is true, because Belichick was displeased with what he saw out of his guys. So he damn sure, kept his starters in there for a longer period of time and was going to play this like a real game.
Right. And, a lot of people was like shocked, like, why is Dante Hightower and those guys still in the game? He made sure his veteran guys got in the game so he can evaluate those guys, because in that division, it's going to be a gauntlet. And, you only have 3 preseason games, and those guys probably not even playing the last preseason game. But he wanted to make sure that his veteran guys got a chance to get some good work. And, Cam got some good work. Mac Jones got the majority of the snaps, in the second half. But for the most part on that defense, they were like, well, they're going against their starters. Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Usually, when we had 4 or 5 preseason games, that second game, I think we played like the whole half and then the first series of the third quarter, just to get your body ready to come out after halftime because you're relaxed. But like I said, it's a culture thing. I'm on Instagram Live too. My man Eric Davis, the quarterback from the 49ers, he was like, man, that ain't it's a culture thing. So some of these young coaches, try to be buddies with these guys. Belichick ain't trying to be no buddies.
No.
Get to put out there and play a whole half. That's what you're gonna do.
He don't care what they doing across the field from him. He knew what he was going to do. He knew his plan was put in place. Those guys, and they were blitzing.
Right.
They weren't trying to hold nothing back. They were blitzing their butt off. Belichick is really blitzing. Hightower went on like 3 or 4. I'm like, what is going on? We haven't seen a blitz from our squad now. But he was sending them.
Right. And he's preparing himself for the season. And you're not going to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah.
This is the National Football League. Everybody is good. And the Eagles, we need to, I said a couple of weeks ago, our back end, I know we pay Slay a lot of money, and I know he may have been nicked up, but he was practicing. So why can't you go out there and suit up and get reps? I just never understood that. But like I said, it's a different mindset, different game now. These guys,
I always wanted to play too, bro. I needed that rep. I needed to go out there.
Special teams, I don't care. Just let me go out there and just go down there and run on kickoff, because not too many people can play this game. And it's a short-lived game, and it's still a football game. It should be fun to you as a player to play the game. And I just never took a play off. I never understand how these guys can sit there and have the hat on the back and chilling. And man, I just
sunflower seeds, giggling, ha-ha and he-he-ing. We're getting our ass kicked out here. He's ha-ha and he-he-ing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They making us like it. 35-0. We got goose egged.
Yeah.
I felt it for them. I felt it for them.
And the coach comes out and coach says, we played terrible. But you put those guys out there. You put those guys in the position for that kind of performance.
Barrett's just upset that he had to watch the entire thing and do the post-game show last night. He knows Eytan. He knew Eytan and I were out in the first half of that game.
Yeah, it was. I watched up till the third quarter, and I'm on Twitter. I'm tweeting about different things, and some of the fans are like, I was like, we can't cover anybody. Mac Jones is just out there just looking like, 7-on-7.
Right.
They're like, well, we didn't have our guys. And obviously I don't give a crap. I don't buy into the excuses. When I got in the game in the fourth quarter, Reggie White wasn't out there rushing the passer. Clyde Simmons wasn't out there rushing the passer. I don't even know who the guys I had rushing the passer. I was out there trying to make plays. Like, I don't give a crap who's out there rushing.
But
just make plays.
Right, Mac. So your ex-teammate, man, we're in there. We're watching the game. We got to watch it inside the Wells Fargo Center.
Seth?
Where our office is.
Oh,
I
know.
He looked down. Look, he did like this. He looked down to me. Yeah, I ain't watching this no more, man. I'm watching YouTube, man. So he sat and watched YouTube for the rest of the time. He said he peek up every once in a while when he heard screaming.
Yep.
He's like, oh, so every time he was peeking up, it was something the Patriots was doing. It. Oh, here we go again. He went back down and looked again.
And that's the mentality. That's the kind of guys I played with. Those are the kind of guys that held me accountable. From Monday through Sunday. And like I said, we talked about this before. Who's going to be the guy on the defensive side of the ball to hold these guys accountable?
Well, tell us what you got going on. You got a busy week next week. You got your football camp starting up, and then you got your grilling with McMillan event with the barbecue, bourbon, and brew. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we talked it up the last time. I think we were talking about bourbon and all that. So on the 26th at Romanowski Field, I'll be doing a Camp 29, which is going to benefit our Lift Foundation for kids, that are being bullied and harassed. So I'm excited about that. This will be my first one. And, for me, man, to be able to come back and still get the support and be able to do something positive, that's a blessing for me, man. So I'm excited about that. And then the evening from 5 to 9, we'll be at Boston Scott Golf. Right. So there'll be tri-tip on the grill. There'll be chicken. There'll be bourbon. There'll be wine.
That's out in Collegeville, PA, right?
That would be in Collegeville, PA. So, the Grill and McMillan experience with Boston Scott Golf. They'll have, apparel there that they'll be,
they make nice stuff. They really make nice stuff. Their shirts
look at
are great.
The product. Looks real nice. Why don't you guys come on out? I told Barrett, he's got an open invite.
I'm already going to be there.
I'll go out there.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, have a good time. Have some bourbon, have some wine, have some barbecue. Muck it up, look at some gear. So, part of the proceeds goes back to our Lift program as well. So everything I'm doing in the Philadelphia area is going to go back to our Lift program. So I'm excited. I think we have like 20 to 25 kids signed up already. I do have 5 spaces available for a kid that can't afford the $30. I'm going to let the kid come in for free. They get a free t-shirt. We'll have, hydration for the kids. B said he's going to be there. So I know he's going to work those kids like no other.
Hey, let's go. Drop step. Lift and get vertical. Move your hips. Drop the hip. Come on now.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. So the 26th is going to be real exciting. From 8 to 10, we'll be at Romanowski Field for the Camp 29.
Romanowski Field? What?
No, not the no.
The Bill, is it? Okay.
It's up in Telford, PA, in Bucks County, I think that is. Bucks, Montgomery. Yep. Yeah.
So it's $30. Kids can, parents can, register online at grillandmcmillan.com and just register. Like I said, just come out and, learn from some of the guys that did it at a high level. I'm excited. I'll be out there running around with the kids as well. Just running them through drills. We might do a little combine session in there too. Time them in the 40, just getting them ready because a lot of kids don't know how to run the 40 or don't know how to do the 3-cone shuffle, the 3-cone shuttle. So we're gonna just show these kids how to do it the right way and come out and have a good time. And for the kids that might be some kids that are being bullied, that we'll be able to reach those kids as well and put them in the program and be able to do nice things for those kids. So everything I do, man, is going back to our foundation, the Griffin Gibbs Foundation as well. Tracy Lining, Greg, they're big behind this as well. So I'm excited.
That's awesome, man.
And we're all right. Hold on, real quick. We got to take a quick one on the network. We're back in 3 on SportsMap Radio. All right, go ahead. Just wanted to break real quick on the network.
So, bro, I'm gonna get there. I'll be there right on time. But then I got to sneak out about 9:30 because I got to get back to do the show. Oh, I'm there from 8 to 9:30.
Oh man, just let me know, man. Just let me know what kind of bourbon you like. I'll make sure I get you some tri-tip sliders.
There we go. There we go.
We're gonna have the grill there. We have wine. We got brew. I think. Trying to think the name of the brew that's going to be out there, but it's a brewery that we're working in contact with. Hidden Steel is going to be the bourbon. Mm-hmm. They're out there in Hershey, PA. So they're going to provide the bourbon for us as well. So
nice.
I'm excited, man. From Vegas to PA.
Yep.
Now you're combining bourbon and golf apparel. I'm in.
Really?
There you
and
go.
And Eytan.
And tips, man.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. I got my clubs too. I got my golf clubs too, man.
There you go.
What do we know about that course?
What do you mean?
Okay. I just didn't know. Like, is it a hard course? Or, is there?
No. We're just cooking it. Boston Scott is a apparel.
I thought it was at the spot up there.
No. It's going to be at their headquarters. They have a retail location that they just built like last year.
Yeah, so I'm excited to meet them. Obviously, to partner up with them. They got some really good stuff I see online. I know they got some ambassadors, some guys that's actually on tour.
Mm-hmm. Steven Munoz is one of them.
Yeah. That's right here. So I'm excited, man. Who would have thought, man? I go from playing football to flipping tri-tip and playing golf.
Well, you got, not the dump truck, Boston Scott.
No, that's what I always think of.
No. That's what somebody tweeted out there. It's like, oh my gosh, Boston Scott's going to be there. I was like, no, he's not going to be there.
Scott Piercy is the other guy that they rep.
Yeah. I think they're tearing it up this weekend. I think it's a tournament that they're tearing it up this weekend.
Yeah, they're up in New Jersey.
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it should be good. It's going to be good. It's going down.
Can't wait,
baby. Grilly McMillan, Camp 29. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm out of kids duck walking and everything else, bro.
Yeah, I got I got invited too for I think it's called Souderton High School.
Souderton, yeah.
They play their big game is Friday night next week. I guess they got a new stadium. They play their rival. So I'll be doing the coin toss.
Oh yeah.
For that on Friday, and I'll probably. Every time I get around football, man, people are like, hey, you don't have to stay. I'm like, no, I like high school football.
Right.
There's nothing like high school football, man, with the band and, seeing these kids just get after it, because they're trying to get to college. They don't have time to sit back, like Barrett said, caca and kiki and eating sunflower seeds.
Well, that's right near where you're doing your camp. Souderton's not far away from there.
Yeah. I'm gonna be all over, man.
I was gonna say, how do you have time for us? You're doing so many different things, Mark.
I always make time for my guys, man. Come on, man. You guys make time for me, man. I always make time for people that look out for me.
All right. Well, we're gonna hold you to that. You know that, right?
Yeah. Come on.
We don't have many people that say that about this show.
That is true.
Well, that they ain't real. They ain't real people, man.
They say it about Barrett though, but they don't say it about the whole show.
That's true. So you're one of the few that actually. And look, you could be lying, and we wouldn't call you on it because it helps us anyway.
That's one thing I ain't gonna do. I ain't gonna lie about my guys, man.
That's right.
I'm a loyal teammate, man. Through and through. So guys that I've went to war with and went to in the trenches, I never try to big time anybody, man. So Barrett's always been there, man. Whether you won a Super Bowl or you didn't win a Super Bowl, he's always been 100 with me. When I asked him for an event, like I said, last event I had, he showed up before me and filled in, so he had my back.
So I'm curious because we just came off a ridiculous preseason game and starters didn't play. And do you have a moment that you can recall, maybe not even on the Eagles, but just a crazy weird, like the preseason is always looked at from veterans. We hear it all the time from Barrett, like, oh man, I got to go through this again and everything like that. So I don't know, like what was like the go-to preseason story, or maybe it was somebody doing something as a rookie you didn't know, or maybe by the time you were a seasoned vet in the league, it was a trick, or maybe there was a guy you played with who always had a back injury right at this time of the year and came out and played fire. I'm curious because Barrett talks a lot about the preseason, so I just wanted to get just a thought or two, but from you personally about it.
Preseason, I was always on the chopping block. Especially in Philadelphia. Every year they brought in, a second round pick cornerback, a first round pick cornerback. And I Ray Rose to Kotai, I was like, you guys are wasting your money on these picks. I'm not going anywhere. I know Eric's not going anywhere. So every year I knew I was on the chopping block. So I just always took every opportunity I had on the field, even in preseason. Even as a veteran, I always made sure to look, get on the sideline and help these guys out when they come off the field. Just try to give them some pointers. Because you're only good as your weakest link. So, we wanted everybody to, step up their game. And, like I said, Eric Allen to Byron Evans, the Seth Joyner, those guys took me under their wings and, saw something in me that, I was probably a little skeptical of myself, especially playing in Philadelphia. And, being one of the last, coming down to the last, cutting day was me. And I was like, man, Eric is just holding out. And it's like, well, when Eric comes back, you're going to be the odd man out. So every time I stepped on the practice field, you can ask Fred Barnett, man, we were literally fighting, throwing blows at Westchester every practice. I was fighting for my life. And, when Eric signed his deal, it was like walking the mile, going to my locker. I was like, man, it wasn't a nice lockers now. There was that little cardboard name in the
right. Westchester was the worst playing in that pit, man. You remember how hot it was and down in, it was like, you could cut the humidity with a fork, a knife, man. It was just so, it's just like, you just couldn't get it off you, man. It was just like on you. You couldn't get it off you.
Yeah.
It was it was the one of the worst places, man. Then you had to walk down that hill from the locker and walk down. But then after practice, you got to walk up the hill and walk back, man. It was horrible, man.
And then those dorm rooms, obviously, I could sleep anywhere because I was only 5'7". For the linemen, I was like, how are these guys sleeping?
I wasn't fitting anywhere. It was horrible. How are these guys
sleeping in the bed? So, as training camp went on, man, it's like I said, it's a different ball game. It's a different breed. We just got to adapt to it. People say when older guys get on radio, it's like, oh, you guys are bitter.
Right,
right. Bitter, like we're not bitter. What are you gonna say to Mike Tyson? If he calls out a Ibaka, you gonna call Mike Tyson bitter? I don't think so.
No, not to his face. Right. Yeah. What happened in '97? I'm curious, man. I was looking up something different for you, and I got caught in a Mark McMillan rabbit hole. In 1997, you were on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You led the league as only starting 2 games that year. You played in all 16. You only started 2. You led the league in interception receiving yards. You had 1 less than league leader Ryan McNeil with 8. And you had 3 touchdowns that year, which tied the league alongside old Otis Smith. How did you dominate like that without even starting?
That was one of the selling points when I went to Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer and, Mr. Hunt. And, they say, hey, I know you're going to, it was St. Louis and Kansas City. And Bud Carson was there in St. Louis, along with Peter Junta, who's our coaches in Philly. And they knew I was going there, that next day on a Saturday. And Marty's like, you're not going on that plane. I was like, well, I already got my ticket. He said, we're going to pay you like a starter because we plan on playing you like 95 to 97% of the time. We had Daryl Carter and James Hasty on the other side. And, then, a lot of teams start implementing a lot of passing into the National Football League. So I played a lot. And, I had a lot of opportunities to, make some plays. And, I made the best of my situation. And, obviously, I always had that chip on my shoulder. Even when I came back to Philly, I know the people were booing. They're like, oh, and it was I just wanted to win the game so bad. And, Marty, on the sideline, he's like, you just got to calm down. Because I was out there trying to hit everything. And, Deuce was running wild on us. And, I was making a couple of mistakes. And once I calmed down and, obviously, Irvin Fryer, I think, and Rodney Peake was the quarterback. And, they just went to the well one time too often. And, ball game.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah, but that was a great year for us. Obviously playing with Derek Thomas, Rick Gannon was our quarterback, Andre Rison, Kemp. We had a lot of good players on that team. We just ran up against a really powerful Denver Bronco team in the playoffs that knocked us off.
Yeah, that was the
they were really, really good though. Good. They were really, really good. Yeah, you look at the whole game, man. Derek Thomas was. I had never seen a guy that fast, man, come off the ball, man. He was amazing, man. I'm glad he wasn't on my side, bro. Man, he was just his jump, man. It's like he was in the quarterback's head.
Yeah, he was. Some of the time, obviously, Derek Thomas was one of the best to play the game, and even in the film room, we had to rewind some of the plays because some of the positions that he was in, he was almost ground level. With some of the moves and we were like, man, this dude is like amazing. And before every game, he always told our defensive backs, he's like, he said, how much time you guys need? We're like, if you can get back there in a second, he's like, I can get there half a second. And And third down in Kansas City, everybody knew, obviously, his third and long foundation is still going. When third down came in Kansas City and Arrowhead, everybody in that stadium knew if Derek had coverage, Derek ain't covering. Derek is rushing the quarterback. And, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to get pressure on the quarterback and force him into a bad throw. And obviously, that year I was in great position, man, to make a lot of plays. And I know Philadelphia fans, they're like, oh, great. We don't sign him back and he goes and leads the National Football League in interceptions.
Right.
Was that go ahead, Eytan.
No, I was going to say Eagles didn't have a DT.
No.
So that's your response.
Yeah.
Was Arrowhead, was that place louder than playing in the Vet back in the day?
Back in the Vet, man, it was, I would say, I think playing against the Cowboys, I know playing in Detroit when I still remember Lomas Brown making that prediction, when they came in the Vet, talking all that trash.
Oh, yeah.
But that game
not if we going to win, it's how much we're going to win by.
Right.
Yeah, that game was extremely loud. It was really cold. But
you guys hung over 50 on him that day, didn't you?
I think we hung like almost 30. I think we almost hung 30 in the first half.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Rob Carpenter at the end of the half.
Yeah. Everything was clicking, man. The offense was clicking. Our defense was clicking. And Ray Rose, man, like you said, man, he talked to us like he was on the street. And he said, man, these guys coming here talking trash, talking about they're gonna punch you in the mouth. And Lomas was talking trash, and we just played with that chip on our shoulder, man. We didn't have guys that was first-round picks on our defensive side of the ball. We had guys, Mike Zordich, from the Cardinals, Greg Jackson.
Greg Jackson.
We had guys, that was driving UPS trucks.
Right. What was his name? Kevin Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah, Dixon. He was trying that. And Kevin Johnson, they went and got from a liquor store in L.A.
And Barry Wilburn, they went and got him out of the crack house.
Right, that's right.
Barry Wilburn was a guy that was a really good player, won the Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins, amazing athlete.
Right.
He could have just stayed on the straight and narrow, man. He was a really talented player, but we just played with a chip on our shoulder, and the Vet was loud. When you came into the Vet, obviously, we had a home field advantage with the Phillies playing there, from first base to second base to home plate. But I think that game, I know the game on Monday nights playing against the Cowboys was like really loud. When they gave them 4 or 5 extra plays.
Yeah, down.
Yeah, they gave like 9. Barry Switzer thought we were some punks.
Right.
And we smacked him in the mouth.
Play. Yeah. I'm just gonna run the exact same play.
Yeah, we're tough. Okay.
Well, everybody was saying, that Detroit game, man, every time I talk to you guys, man, and when we were in those games, they're like, oh, man, we was having so much fun, man, and that's the best game. I'm like, look, I don't know what you guys talk about, because me, I was out there fighting, man. It was me against Robert Porcher, and he was coming, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm out there fighting for my life. Everybody else ha-ha, and and I'm battling out there, man. He trying to get me, dog. Oh my goodness, bro. It was.
They had some guys on their defense. Like they wasn't they didn't have no slouches. They were scoring like 40-something points a game
on offense. Yep. With that Perryman.
Yeah.
They had Perryman. They had
Rob Moore. They had
Rob Moore, Barry Sanders,
Herman Moore.
Barry Sanders was on the squad.
Yeah.
Who was the other receiver?
Johnny Morton.
Johnny Morton.
Johnny Morton was
Johnny Morton.
Yeah. So we baptized them all. We baptized all of them dudes. So we baptized all, and I think Johnny was a young guy, and he just couldn't get anything going. And obviously, I was a veteran at that time. I was like, there's no way. We knocked Perryman out of the game in the first quarter.
That's right.
We knocked him out in the first quarter, and the way we had their defense designed, a lot of people didn't know it. We rolled a lot of our coverage over to Bobby Taylor and had Greg Jackson over the top. Obviously, he was young, and I was 1-on-1 100% of the time of the game, locked up on Morton and Perryman. And if you look at the game, they were throwing him outside a lot because they figured it out. Like, well, this 1-on-1, we're gonna take our chances. But obviously, I don't think he caught a pass that game until he got
stepped up.
Yeah,
stepped up,
the boots up, baby.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, our squad, man. Look at our squad. I mean, rushing the pass, we had Chilinsky, we had Daniel Stubbs,
Andy Harmon.
Yep. You know, we had some players. Fuller was out there.
William was out there. Willie T was coming up the corner.
Yep. He said, I'm the best. He said, I'm the best cover guy on the team. Not the best cover linebacker.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm the best cover guy on the team.
Yeah.
That was his claim to fame. He would go out saying, man, I'm leading the team in interceptions. I'm the best cover guy on the team.
That used to really piss me off. I'm thinking like, I'm a defensive back, and Willie T is leading our team in INTs. But, you know, the way our defense was set up, you know, I didn't get a lot of chances to get interceptions, but it is what it is, man. Those are some good times, and you know, I wish the vet would have never crashed. I know, you know, with things down, you know, the link just doesn't have that home field advantage feel to it. When you go to a game, it's like when it's third down and it's grimy, you can hear the crowd roaring, but you know, when you're in a vet, you can feel it.
Right.
You know, the link you can hear it, and the vet you can feel it.
Especially that last game at the vet was awful against Tampa Bay. That was that awful playoff loss. That was the last football game in there.
Yeah.
I talk to Rondé all the time about that. Rondé tells me, man, I had to close the vet on you all, man. I closed the door. Like, come on, man. But I mean, there's nothing like the vet, man. The vet was one of those places that when we were out there, bro, it was crazy, man, because I can remember after a game, I'm signing autograph for this little girl, and they, you know, we had gotten cheesesteaks. They gave us cheesesteaks after the game.
I never got a cheesesteak. You must have had a really good game. You got a cheesesteak.
Well, they had it in the Wise Lounge, so I went to the Wise Lounge and got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got in the Wise. So I'm eating my cheesesteak, and this girl comes up. Can you sign this? You know, so look, I said, oh, no problem. So I took my cheesesteak and I sat on the ground because it was wrapped in foil. So I sat it right there on the edge of the curb, and I'm signing it for it, and I look over. And two big rats. These rats were huge. About this big.
They're like
they
cats.
walk over and they grab it and they're carrying both of them like they were like helping each other. They're carrying a cheesesteak. I'm looking at this like, whoa.
What?
Wow.
I said, yo, like this and and they turned around and like made a noise, looked at me, and looked and turned back around and picked the cheesesteak up and they went on about their business. They took the cheesesteak, bro.
Yeah, it was some big rats. It was some real big rats in the bottom of the vet.
But when did rats start cooperating like that to take a cheesesteak, bro?
Hey, man,
they were home.
Cooperated.
They got to eat.
Yeah. Rats got to eat, baby.
Right. It was amazing.
They were like, "You're big enough. We need this cheesesteak."
Right.
Yeah. You can get another.
I dare you to try to take it. I dare you. I dare you.
You got
the little girl's like. I mean, the little girl screaming, look. I'm like, oh, you know, caught me by surprise also.
Wow.
Yeah, man. But two rats, you know, they cooperated with each other, you know what I'm saying? Almost like Ratatouille or something.
Ratatouille.
And walked away with it. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
You could make this stuff up, but, you know, if you tried, man.
And Gruden used to sleep in the vet. Like, he used to sleep down there. It's like, dude, how are you sleeping with these rats? He's like,
I tell you what, man, I used to sleep with them rats down in the basement of the vet, man. I can hear Eytan doing the invitation right now.
That was good, Harry. That was good.
Not bad, right?
Hey, Eytan does it even better.
I tell you what, man. Like that's what's ruined me with this whole Sirianni stuff.
I know.
It's just platitude after platitude, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's great now in the preseason because unlike regular teams, this Eagles team, like 80% of the people are trying to make and stay alive in this league and keep their, including veterans here. So really, who's going to call out Nick Sirianni? Jason Kelsey, who's probably going to be retired next year. Jalen Hurts, who was told by the same guy he's not even the starting quarterback until he has to prove it. Brandon Graham, who's probably going to be gone in a year. Fletcher Cox, who could be traded. Darius Slay. I mean, who's going to call this guy out anyway? Nobody is, because they're so afraid they're either going to lose their job or be traded.
Yeah.
It is what it
on
is,
the block.
Yeah, you're right about that. You know, especially with the price tag that these older guys hold. You know, if things don't go well, those guys are going to be, their names are going to start coming up, you know, mid-season about being traded. And, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. You know, we went young, so we got to go with it. You know, if you got to make a commitment. If you're going to commit to go young, you just got to ride it out and hope your draft picks fare out well. You look at you know, what the Washington football team has done. They went young, and you know, they're starting to reap some of the fruits of their draft picks. And, those guys are freaking getting after it, that's a scary team to me, man, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Those guys freaking get after it.
Front four, all first rounders.
Yeah.
Sweat,
from Ohio State to Alabama. They got the best of the best. And, those guys are starting to gel at the right time. And, obviously, they got some veterans in the secondary. Collins is supposed to come back. A young guy that I've watched through high school all the way through Arkansas, Cam Curl, who had a big-time season last year. A lot of teams passed up on him, and all he did was step in for Landon Collins and, was all rookie.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's just –
he's back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Collins is back now,
Yeah, Collins is back. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this thing plans out. You don't know what's going on. Dak's getting, another MRI? Is that promising? Why are you getting another MRI?
And it's a shoulder this time. It's not even the ankle injury.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, man, it's all up in the air. I can't wait to get back to the regular season. Where
23 days away, Barrett.
23 is,
and after last night, that's a long 23 days.
That's a long. That's a long.
We're not talking about the Phillies.
Hey, but we got in 6 days. Right. In 6 days, we got bourbon and barbecue.
That's right.
In 6 days, we got bourbon and barbecue, baby.
Hey, one more thing for me. One more thing for me, Mac. How are you feeling about about this third game? Because usually the third game, when we had a fourth game, the third game was when the veterans will play at least the first half and at least one series into the third. How would you feel if with it being 10 or so days before the next time the Eagles play and it'll be the regular season, about the starters just getting one series or two series instead of playing the whole half, considering the fact that have that much time that they could get healthy going into to the beginning of the season? They need some type of reps together. I mean, they need O-line.
They need at least a quarter.
Exactly.
Those guys need at least a quarter. You don't want to go into preseason, especially after this. It's a big setback. As a defensive unit, I guarantee you, if we had that kind of performance, from Seth to Andre Waters, there's no way we going in that third game. It's like, okay, we're going to play a series. And we're going to iron this thing out.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They would take it upon themselves.
Right.
Like, no, it's not happening like this.
We're going to iron this thing out. And, we're going to get it right. If it takes us a quarter, if it takes us 2 quarters, we got to iron this thing out. But you just can't say like, okay, well, the starters was out week 1. We're just going to be a lot better. Not if you didn't iron things out.
Right.
The practice is good. These inter-squad scrimmages and everybody's hyped about that. That's what it is. Inter-squad practice. It's practice. When you line it up, your name get called, you running through that tunnel, it's real, especially with these guys trying to make the ball club.
Right.
I'm not trying to be your friend. Like, we could be friends after the final, after the fight. When everything is said, the 53 is on the roster, then we good.
Well,
right now,
I got the family to feed.
Yeah, I ain't got no homies. We good.
I got a little girl to look after.
Yeah.
You quote Starbucks on here? Jeez.
Yes, sir, man. But that means it's just the nature of the beast, man. You got to go out there and play. And at this point, Nick has got to make sure he takes the reins and what is it, Harry? What do you call it? Take command.
Take command
of the team. You got to take command of the team.
And does he have that? Does he have that? This is a great opportunity for him, especially after a loss like that, to go in and rip these guys.
Right.
And get that respect and get that command. Some guys might be like, but those are the guys I don't want on my squad. I'm a rip into you guys if you're not buying into it.
Right.
And if you're okay with going out there and getting a goose egg put up on you, then you're not buying into what we're trying to do there. And those are the guys I want to be able to buy in. And the veteran guys need to step up in front of the meeting room as well and hold everybody accountable, including themselves. For a veteran guy, you should be coaching up those guys and encouraging those guys. Guys coming off the field, they're laughing. Like, dude, you're getting
and kikiing.
Yeah, I hate to lose. I don't care if it was preseason, man. I just hated to lose. I hated for a guy to catch a ball on me. It's just not a good feeling, and you just got to compete like that. You look at Giannis, the way he plays the game in Milwaukee.
Right,
a lot of guys don't like Giannis. He ain't shaking nobody's hand after the game. He's not trying to be friends with those guys. He's trying to rip those guys hard out and it shows in the game. He is not smiling the whole game.
Nope.
He's going 100 miles an hour.
No, I mean that's what here you're always going to get. Right now, I wonder, just going back to Harry's question about Arrowhead versus the Vet, have you or a team that you played on ever been booed as loud as whatever was the case? Maybe not for you, Mark. maybe it was somebody else, right? Maybe it was just like a rare miss come up off a block from Seth. Don't tell Seth Joyner I said that, Barrett Brooks, all right? But like something else like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, now you played on some legit teams, so I don't know how much booing actually came down, but that would be the question, to where I imagine that, yes, from as far as it being loud, there are other stadiums who have claimed to be as, if not louder, but I doubt that the Arrowhead faithful would ever be as loud in showing their disappointment as Eagles fans would be. Not that that's a badge of honor or anything. It's just a reality. I guess.
We even when we had a couple of, maybe a bad series or something in Arrowhead, we never got booed. But in Philadelphia, they didn't care who you were, from Randall Cunningham to Eric Allen. If you stinking it up, they're going to let you know about it. And the Boo Birds, we knew they were coming. You got to step up in Philadelphia. It didn't matter who you were, from a starter to a bench guy. And when those Boo Birds came out in Philly, it wasn't just the old guys. You can look in the stands and see little kids like 9-10 years old, being groomed already to be Bird fans and booing people. But
wait a second, let's not forget, you played on some pretty, not bad, but you played with Kotite or for Kotite.
I played for Bud Carson. Let's get that correct.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Coach Carson was your coach.
Right. Yeah.
Rich Kotite happened to be the guy overseeing everything there.
Right.
But, I mean, man, maybe that was it. Maybe it was just like all of that vitriol and hate was just directed easily to Kotite, and you guys were like, "Hey, man, that's fine. Let Coach got it. He's got this one."
Oh, definitely. Some of the play calling, plays that he was calling.
Yes, sir.
And as a defensive unit, it was our unit, man. We stayed on one side of the field, and the offense stayed on their side of the field, and we never really got caught up in what the offense was doing. We always went into the game is like, we're going to win the game on defense. If they don't score, they don't win, and that was our mentality. And when it was 3 and out, you could talk to Seth. He MF Mr. Cunningham a lot, coming off the field. And, he was not, he didn't hold any punches, from Byron Evans. Those guys really got into the offense when they got off the field, just going 3 and out. But, we just went out there and, hit guys in the mouth. As a defense, we loved being on that field. And, the fans really rallied behind us. And, when you got Seth Joyner, when you got Wes Hopkins, and you got Dirty Waters having your back, man, that was some of the best times I had in that secondary. And Eric Allen doing his thing over there. And, we had trained killers. And I really believe that's why some of those guys are not in the Hall of Fame now, because a lot of people really didn't like the way we played the game. And the writers definitely didn't, he wasn't Andre Waters. He was Dirty Waters.
Right.
And, from Seth Joyner, a lot of people didn't like the way he played the game. And, his name comes up. You look at what Randall Cunningham has done. They say, well, he didn't win a Super Bowl. Warren Moon didn't win a Super Bowl either.
Right.
Or Marino.
Or Dan Marino. So, people really didn't like Philadelphia in the late 80s, early 90s. And, it shows every year. And I tweeted out the other day, how in the heck is Eric Allen not in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, you make a big case for Seth too.
Yep.
Yeah. But Seth ain't gonna bite no bullet.
No.
He going out like T.O. He gonna stay who he is.
We got to break real quick. Mark, can you hang with us for another minute or two? You got a jet. We're only.
I got you.
Okay, cool. We'll be back in 3 on Sports Map Radio.
What up, Instagram Live, baby? Yeah, I'm rocking a Penn football shirt. I know everybody.
I see that.
Everybody's used to seeing me wearing Alabama. I'm going with Penn football for my guys. Rick over there, he's the wide receiver coach over at Penn. So
get out of here.
Yeah, that's my guys, man. When I come to town, I go visit. That's a historical place, man.
Franklin Field.
Right.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of Alabama, though, Devontae Smith, obviously from Alabama, do you have any kind of relationship with him? Did you you ever interact? Do you go back to Alabama at all?
I haven't been back in a while. We plan on going back this year. I think it's the LSU game. So Gorilla McMillan is going on the road with our tailgate show, tailgate party.
Nice.
We're trying to, we're working on some sponsors to try. We got this trailer that my partners designed. So we're excited about that, man. So if we can, raise enough money and get that trailer and get a sponsor, we will be traveling to NFL stadiums and college stadiums with the Gorilla McMillan experience.
That's awesome.
It's nothing like tailgate, man, in college football, man. It's unbelievable, man. You go to places like, the Grove, man. People understand what the Grove is.
Ole Miss. Yeah.
Oh my God. We're talking about
the biggest cocktail party. That's they get it in Ole Miss.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Just like you go to LSU. LSU go down there. I go down every time I go to LSU and do a game. I have to go by and I tailgate just so I can get some alligator, man. It's barbecue alligator.
Fried alligator?
Oh, barbecued.
Barbecued gator? Well, on a stick? Like
it's rotisserie.
Oh, okay.
It's have like 4 of them on there, and it just spins, and then you can just come up and cut you a piece off, like you just cut your piece off some like chicken. Just cut it off.
Yeah, I don't personally have a relationship with Devontae. Obviously, I follow those guys on social media. They'll tweet back or they'll DM me back, but I don't have like a personal relationship with those guys. Especially, I don't like to bother those guys, and I'm a fan of the young man.
Seems like a great kid.
He's a good kid, and you can see the difference between him and regular, the way they can separate from receivers. Last night on a couple of routes, the back shoulder throw, obviously, was a tough catch, but when they move him inside the slot, he's a different dude, and he's going to be trouble for guys for that nickel corner to be able to cover him in all that space. A couple of times, he put that foot in the ground, he's out. And, once he gets his hands on the ball, he has a different gear, and you can just see it, just like smooth, but he's really moving.
Right.
So, it's going to be interesting to see how he matures. We just got to just go with it. He's going to have some games that, it's going to be some guys that's going to lock him up. And, until he figures it out and figures out the speed of the game. But I don't have any doubt, man. That's a rare combination. What you see, and you look at what Mac Jones is going, what he did last night. You're like, no wonder nobody was able to stop these guys.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Offense.
Yeah.
A lot going
on. So people on the stream want to know when the event is. It's next Thursday. Of course, you got the camp in the morning, and then from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Boston Scott retail location in Collegeville is the Grill and McMillan barbecue and bourbon event. There you go.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait. And also, my guys at Brokemar Barbecue, one of my partners, I think somebody got a care package,
All right.
Yeah.
So they're making my own sauce. I had a sauce before, but COVID, and I stopped making it. But they're making my sauce again. So they're going to have samples of my personal sauce.
Oh, okay.
That we're going to be displaying as well. So my seasonings is in the work as well. So there's a lot of things I got going on, man.
Barrett, you're going to be hanging over with Mark a lot. I know you go to D Guns to eat, but
right.
Oh no, D Guns gets it in. No, hey, D Gun be going at it, man. If he ain't fishing, he grilling.
Right.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? 2 of my favorite pastimes: eating and fishing. Right. I do both very well.
Right.
I need to get trained. I get paid for that because I've trained very hard for that.
Yeah, I see you. I see you on the boat. I see you on the boat.
That's what
Beautiful.
I do, bro.
On that boat. Yep. Mark, we appreciate you, brother. This has been fantastic. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks a lot.
Man. Like I said, I'll see you guys in 6
week.
days, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll see you next week, bro.
You got it.
I appreciate it.
All right.
I take care.
There he is.
Millen in the house.
Mighty Mouse.
Beautiful. Just
Great dude, man. Great dude. Great dude.
Yeah,
and he was, he was older than me. He played with some great players. I got in at the tail end, not even the tail end. I mean, they had just let Seth go the year before I got there. He was the last of the Mohicans of that, that stellar defense.
Right.
No, Willie T was there also. Willie T also played with that defense. So we're talking about guys that a lot of those guys should be Hall of Famers. from the late and great Jerome Brown to Willie T. I mean, he did some amazing things also. If Willie T would have stayed with the Eagles and the Eagles were worth their salt back then, I mean, it could have been a great, great, great career for him. But he left and then went to the place where you go to retire. He went to the Raiders.
Right. Joey B has an idea on the stream here, Eytan, for Halloween. Yeah, Eytan needs to do the middle as Gruden on Halloween for the first half, and then Mad Dog Russo and for the second hour.
that would be all that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Could you keep that up for an hour, the Mad Dog Russo? That's hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Yeah,
and
it's exhausting.
Right. All right. It's a lot. No, man, that was great. From Zangaro to McMillan, just trying to get an idea of what the hell happened last night. And then also just great to talk with Mark, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fantastic, man. All right, let's get out of here. We're back on the weekend or after the weekend, right?
Yep.
Anything else that we missed?
You gonna watch any football this weekend? Any more preseason, or are we done with preseason?
No, I have a 5-leg parlay that is I need one to hit. So I'll watch this
Saturday's slate of games or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
I have to lock back in. It's 5 legs. I hit 4 baseball last night, so I'm just on Seattle, Oakland, Arizona, and the over 8 in the Brewers Cardinals game. So I need over 37 for Houston at Dallas.
Okay.
So if that hits, that's unfortunately the one game I think I have to watch.
Well, you need that quarterback from Stanford to have a good game. He looked pretty good last week, apparently.
Yeah, he did.
The kid they drafted.
By the way, you can still get them just under 7 at 6.5. I would strongly suggest that because we're a week out from this game here, but I would strongly suggest on Saturday, what would it be? Saturday, well, it's week 0.
28th.
Yeah. So it's week 0, really.
College?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illinois is getting 6.5 to 7
against Nebraska.
Illinois, I would take Illinois in the money line as well as take Illinois with the points, but that's a mismatch number right there. So keep an eye on that.
All right.
And Phillies, right, tonight?
San Diego taking on Ron Culver's San Diego Padres.
Everybody thinks, they're going to sweep.
Yeah, they should sweep the Diamondbacks.
They ain't going to do anything.
Yeah.
No,
this team is garbage.
It's over.
Yes.
It's all over.
We appreciate you hanging. Have a great weekend. Enjoy everything going on here. It is the middle on the JAKIB Media YouTube page.